All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our Tell the World Nation Zoom call. I just want to start off with a few of our announcements. So just a quick reminder that our monthly meeting in SoCal in Encinitas for the month of July is going to be the second Tuesday of the month as opposed to the first Tuesday. That's because of the 4th of July holiday. So we're going to be starting on the second Tuesday for July. Also, something to note is that we are going to be having a boot camp on July 8th from 7 to 9 Pacific Standard Time, and it's going to be virtual, so it'll be on our Zoom link. And this is going to be on our website and all the new developments with our website and training with that. If you haven't gone on recently, go in and check that out this weekend. We now have a calendar option. Also, there's lots of new documents, lots of additions for the new consultants with our action plan and our 6 steps to getting started. So lots of new things and great tools for you. We just have to really try to streamline that and make it really easy for you to find everything that you need. Third, remember the Kendra Scott Top Sponsor Challenge. So that is still wide open every single month for whoever is the top sponsor. Also, just a quick reminder too, I know we've talked to you about the retreat that's happening August 3rd through the 5th. Here in SoCal. If you have not registered yet, you definitely want to do that today and definitely by the end of the month because you're going to get early bird registration. This retreat is going to be awesome, not only for you and your business, but also for your family gets to be a part of it as well. Also, there's the Donna Johnson incentive. Remember, that is still going on. All of the incentives are on our website, so make sure you check out there if you have any questions or need more details. And remember Arbonne's incentive of the sponsor incentive, which is only $49 for a new consultant to sign up with their $250 order. That's through the month of June, and you as the sponsor get a free gift. And also District Dreaming, and that incentive is happening. So there's so many incredible incentives going on throughout the next couple months to really like blow your businesses up. So take advantage of those. And so that is it on announcements. We're going to go right into our guest speaker, who I am so honored and excited to announce, Miss NVP Teri Fischer. Teri has been in Arbonne for 11 years. She was a former police and military officer. She's a wife, she's a mama. She lives in Mission Viejo, so not far from us. Many of you may know Teri from being in our Phytosport nutrition line. She was a big part of developing that. Also, she is a major rock star and was portrayed in photos for it. Also, Teri has played such an integral role in our team in training us. She had, I think she still has, monthly trainings where she had at the corporate office, welcomed in every single team, no matter whose team they were on, and has made such an impact on a lot of our businesses on really teaching us the power of the 30-day and how to really help our clients be successful and educate us as consultants as well as our clients. So with that, I am so excited to hand it over to Miss Teri Fischer. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Teri.
Thanks so much. Oh my gosh, how fun is this? Like every time I get asked to speak for another team, I think it's probably one of the highest honors you can have in Arbonne, because I know for me, I'm pretty selective with who I share my team with or who I want to share with my team, because, you know, there's just the dynamics of life and people and humans. So Christy, thank you so much. I know your sweet sister is at a class right now. She sent me a message, Sarah, but I just want you guys to know that Ruth sent me a couple topics, and then she said, I'm sorry, I wish I would have never sent that. I just want you to speak from your heart. And honestly, you guys, I'm not one that I'm not a big fan of writing down a bunch of notes and stuff like that. I feel like if something's on my heart, then that's what I want to share. So I know you shared a little bit of my background, but you guys, I wasn't, a little girl that grew up wanting to be an Arbonne consultant. I don't think any of us are, unless you're a child of someone who's grown up in this business, and then you think there's really nothing else. But what happened to me was life changed, and I was injured on the job in 2002. I became a realtor. I did really well at real estate, thought I was going to have all this free time and all this money. Not true. I was really basically trading money for time. And this opportunity came to me in the form of an Nutriment C sample pack, which ages me a little bit. I never opened the sample pack, you guys. I wasn't interested in that sample pack. She gave me a sea salt scrub. Back then it was Awaken, and I used the whole sea salt scrub. I went to her launch party, bought that same sea salt scrub, that one product that I thought I was helping her build her business, because obviously she's just selling product. And I share that because, you guys, when she shared our Arbonne with me, she really never shared the opportunity with me. She wanted me to be a client. She never gave me the opportunity to see that this could be a possibility for me. But what I did notice over the next few weeks, both our kids were in high school together, so we weren't close friends. We were more of acquaintances, and we would hike or have a cup of coffee, but there was no like personal dialogue about what was going on behind our closed doors. And but I saw her skin changing, and I was like, wow, I don't know what she's doing, but it looks really good. So I go, maybe I should look at this Arbonne. So I went onto the website, you guys. I was like, who is Arbonne? What is it? I always took good care of my skin. I was kind of a brand snob. I thought if I didn't buy it at a spa or off the shelf of a Nordstrom or, back then Macy's, it wasn't good. Or if it wasn't in every magazine on every other page, that it wasn't a good product. And so I started just kind of going through the Arbonne website, and I share this with you because it's kind of important, because I think sometimes we assume people don't need to hear about this opportunity, and we see what's outside, but we don't know what's going on inside. And we assume that they're good, or assume that their life looks differently. And so I started looking at the products. I started looking, it was 26 years old at the time, in their philosophy of pure, safe, and beneficial was then, and it is today still, I think even better than it was when I started. But the big thing that I noticed was I started stumbling upon the opportunity. And I started stumbling upon helping other people, serving other people, making sure people are living a healthier, cleaner life, things like that. I mean, they were doing that 38 years ago, but 26 years ago, you guys, I became a policeman because I wanted to help other people. I became a police officer because I wanted to make a difference in other people's lives and in this world. And so, not knowing much about network marketing, I didn't know anything about it, actually. I'd not known anyone that had been successful in network marketing. And so basically, I knew I needed the $4,500 mark to be able to stay home and not have to get a full-time job. I stumbled upon the compensation plan, and I stumbled upon really how you build a business. And the cool part about that is, I didn't really realize that you could make the amount of money that you could make in this business. And back then it wasn't about making lots of money. It was about making enough money so I could stay home with my 11 and 15-year-old daughter. Coming from a police background and a detective, the last thing I wanted to do was have to go and leave my kids to be raised by their peers. You guys, I was a latchkey kid. I know what kind of trouble you can get in. It was my biggest fear, and it was something I didn't want to have happen. And then I stumbled upon district, area, region, and nation. And that region number back then was $4,500 a month. And I was like, okay, that's like a big slap in the face. Like, that's the number I had in my head to be able to sustain our home and household. And I didn't share with you, after I was injured on the job as a police officer, my husband's company left California 6 months later. So we literally went from full-time, two incomes to no income. And it rocks your world, right? You think that the monetary things you have in your life, your home and stuff like that are important. They're not. You can rebuild that. So I'm just speaking from experience. But so I went to an opportunity meeting that my sponsor had, and I'll get on to my training in a second, you guys, but I think it's important because she never invited me to it. I saw her at school and I said, hey, I think I want to come to that opportunity meeting. She goes, why? And I was like, well, I don't know. I just want to hear more about it. And so she's like, okay. So I went to her house. Beth Ghilardi, my executive national vice president, was the one speaking. There were a couple other VPs on her team. Everybody was dressed in like suits and dresses, and I schlep in with my camo pants and flip-flops and a baseball hat and a white tank top because honestly, you guys, I'm going to be really honest with you. I was there to prove this wasn't a possibility for me. I was hopeful, but I was also very, very skeptical and very doubtful, right? I'm like, what am I getting myself into? Kind of, look, I have goosebumps. It makes me kind of choke up a little bit, but you know, that was the last time Beth Gallardi was going to come down, because she had been coming down for about 6 months. No one had shown up for the Discovers. No one had shown up for anything. And she had talked to her husband, Vince, and she's like, you know, I just can't keep going down there if they're not going to, you know, meet me halfway. And so he's like, well, you know, you've already committed to this one. You need to go down there. And it makes me like get emotional, because I mean, totally a God thing, because honestly, you guys, like, she saved my life at that point, but she almost didn't come and I almost didn't show up. I was the only guest. I was there to prove that wasn't an opportunity for me. And within about 10 minutes, there were a few key things that I heard that I thought I had in the bag. Retirement. I thought I had my retirement. We were going to retire with medical and pension and benefits, you guys. College tuition, aging parents, owning your own dream home. We didn't anymore. Like, all of these things at that point in our life, and I was 34 at the time when I got hurt on the job, all that changed in an instant, in a foot pursuit, in a fight with a suspect. Like, in an instant, it changed the whole trajectory of my life. And I think about that day, had she not been committed to doing what she did as a leader, and I had not been committed to try and find an alternative for my family, I shudder to think what my life would look like today. So I just want to put that upon you guys, because it's emotional, and it's that little teeny step that you take beyond the doubt, beyond the fear. It's that little thing that you think, well, maybe if I don't, maybe I won't. Babe, shh, sorry. Anyways, I came inside because of the motorcycles outside, and I come inside and I've got ice. Okay, so at the end of the day, my point is that one small little movement on your part can make all the difference in your life, in your kids' lives, in your family's life, everything. So I want you to remember that. And you guys, I went through a couple of the things that I've shared with my team lately. And the big thing right now is vision. And you guys, I had a vision for what I had hoped for my family when I was injured and lost my income, and what am I going to do now? And I also had a fear. And you're hopeful. You really believe that you have the ability to take and decide what you want to do for your family, but you're fearful because you don't want to hope too big. You don't want to dream too big. And so you guys, the fact that you have the Arbonne opportunity, just the Arbonne opportunity, is huge, because there are a lot of people out there that don't have the hope that we have, don't have the ability to go out and not only change our life, but more importantly, change other people's lives. So remember, you guys are a messenger of hope. And I think sometimes we get stuck in this business, and I also think sometimes we fight change in this business, maybe change in what we need to do, change in our behavior, change in our actions, change in our activity, even change in our attitude, you guys. We need to check our own attitude. I think sometimes we're always like, what's up with her? Why isn't my team doing this? You know what? Ultimately, it's you looking in the mirror and going, what is it that I need to do that's going to change the next day for me? Because if I do something, it's going to change other people in my team. People are going to follow suit. So I think that we always need to remember we have to look in the mirror first, because that's where it starts, right? So I want you guys to think about if you are stuck on this call. I don't know if there's anyone on this call that maybe feels stuck or are stuck, but I want you to know that you can get unstuck. And then also too, I know that maybe some of you are afraid of change, but I really want to help you embrace change, because you guys, unless we're changing, we're not growing. You know, if you plant a seed and it's not growing, it's not changing. You're not going to see the first little sprout. You're not going to see the leaf. You're not going to see it grow and then blossom. So I want you to think about that. You guys, and it's not big changes. It's small changes. I think sometimes here, I want you to think about this. When people think about a life of change, they often focus on dramatic changes. You guys, when we're focusing on these big, I need to make all these changes, or this has to change, or that has to change, I think it's escapism a little bit, don't you? Because it's the small things that add up to the big dramatic changes. So I want you to think about that. A small thing, when it's the right thing, will change everything. It's like they say, one person can't change, or hurt your team, but one person coming into your team can change the whole trajectory of your growth. One person that comes in on fire for this business and decides just to do the recipe for success, business plan, whatever it is you guys call it, one person can come in and spark a fire for everyone else, because they're like, she's doing it. It's working for her. So remember that the small change, if it's the right change, is all you need. Little tweaks, you guys. It doesn't have to be big thing, because I think we look at big things and they become unsurmountable. And then we're like, oh, I don't know what to do. So we do nothing, right? So I want you to think about this. And someone that I listen to pretty frequently says, research shows that the small changes are what build a future life. Okay, so are you guys willing to make small changes to live a greater future? Because it is the small changes. Change will not bring joy. Like, change exterior will not bring joy. More people on your team won't bring joy. A bigger paycheck won't bring joy. The white Mercedes won't bring joy. It'll bring excitement, and it'll be fun, and it'll be like all the things that you've been working for. But the real true joy comes from internal change. It comes from growth from within. It comes from thinking of the other person first. It comes from not blaming. It comes from going, what is it that I need to do to grow? They talk about the leadership lid. It's so true, you guys, but I think the leadership lid and the heart have to be in check. I think they go hand in hand. You guys, you can be a great leader, but if you don't have heart for the people on your team and the people around you, sidelines, you guys, it's not just your team. We have to be ambassadors for Arbonne across the board and love our sidelines and all of that. So I want you to think about this for a second, and I'm going to give you a call to action at the end, and I think that it'll help you kind of figure out what you want. So I want you to think about connecting with your long-term self. So I want you to think about, okay, in 1 year, I want to be a regional vice president. In 6 months, I want to be a national vice president. Okay, so I want you to connect with that, and I want to know if your activity and your actions on a daily basis are in alignment with becoming a district. You guys, becoming a district should be celebrated. It's not just like, I had a girl the other day say, I'm just a district. I'm like, you're a district. Because if you can go district, you can go area, region, and nation, you guys. And there is leadership and growth and all that upon it. But you guys, I'm like, you're not just a district. Say, I'm a district manager. I am, yeah. I was going to say something, but I probably shouldn't. Anyways, I'm a warrior. That's better. That's more appropriate. So, okay, so listen. Okay, so what do you want in a year? Let's talk about a year, because that's going to be my call to action. And then what are you willing to do this next year that are in alignment with that goal, right? And then small tweaks in your values will help you get closer to that goal, right? So those small tweaks are really the things that are going to show what you value in your business and what you want for your future, right? Whether it's the 6 most important things you do in a day, whether it's, your 2 asks, your 2 workshops, your 2 drop-offs, whatever it is, you guys, is that happening every single day? Those are small things. Is it looking at your CRM? You guys, that's a big thing. Is it looking at your PC rewards and seeing who's going to lose rewards in the month of June? Who's done that yet? You guys, we only have 8 days left. Right? So those are small things that add up to big, huge things when you do them consistently. And you guys, see yourself as a work in progress. I am a work in progress every single day. We are all broken in some fashion. So at the end of the day, there are things maybe I'm stronger at that Christy isn't. Maybe there's things that Christy's stronger at that I'm not, you guys. I think sometimes it's easy to stay in what we're good at. But you guys, the real work comes in when we focus on our weaknesses. What are the weaknesses that we have? I don't like picking up the phone to ask, someone to host or drop off a sample or meet me for coffee, or maybe I procrastinate. Maybe I'm a little bit lazy, because really there's two things that stop us in this business: fear and laziness. Plain and simple. Those are the only two things that stop us. So you guys focus on the things that don't come natural to you, to tweak those small changes, you guys, because I think that's where you're going to see the biggest growth, right? Where we stay in the comfortable. And then also, you guys, we are a work in progress. And once we realize that and we start to do these little things every single day, that's where growth happens. And when we start to see the little rewards on our small investments, our mindset starts to change. You guys, but it comes with us. You can't get on this call this morning and think that I'm going to change your mindset. I can give you tools, and I can give you inspiration, and I can give you ideas, and I can give you some of the things that are impactful for me. But at the end of the day, it's up to you whether you're willing to grow in your mindset, whether you're willing to grow in the things that you're doing. So remember, change will not bring joy. It's internal change that's really going to truly bring joy to your life. Also, too, you guys, a lot of the things that we need to change are bad habits. They're habits that we've come, accustomed to. It's like, say you have a list of things you want to do in the day, and the big things are the scariest. So you're like, oh, I'll just do the easy things first. And then those things transfer to the next day and the next day and the next day. It's a habit. You got to break that habit. You got to tackle the most important things first. And you guys, I'm a firm believer. The very first thing in my life that's a priority is my faith. Then it's my family. And then I don't have a full-time job. So then Arbonne falls in. So you guys need to align what's most important in your life. Family, faith, family, work, then Arbonne. You guys, Arbonne shouldn't be number one in your life. There's so much more than that. Arbonne is the vehicle that gets us to our future and gets us to our dreams and helps us realize all the things that we hope for and the deepest desires of our heart. But it's not who we are. People don't join Arbonne, they join you, right? So prioritize the things that are most important to you, and don't waver in that, because you don't have to. You don't have to sacrifice your family in order to be successful in this business. You don't have to sacrifice your job to be successful in this business. Ultimately, most people want to leave their job with the hopes of Arbonne, but there's a process that we have to go through. So think about those things, and then set out a little plan for yourself. Okay, these are the things I really need to work on. So the next 8 days till June 30th, these are the little tweaks I'm going to do every single day for my Arbonne business, and I'm going to see what happens with that, you guys. So just know that not everything happens. I truly believe things happen in this business in a 90-day cycle. I really, really do. And we get into it, and we really start buckling down. We really start working. We do all the things that we need to do for our business plan. And we're like, day 45, why is nothing happening? Guys, it takes time for some people, and that's okay. So 90-day cycle, right? And we're in summer right now. You have the rest of June, July, August, September. If you start really buckling down and doing what Christy and Ruth and all of you leaders teach you, guess what happens? You start to see the fruit in September and October, but will you stay until the fruit starts to bear, right? Okay, so let's just unpack that a little bit. I want you to just focus on 5 small habits, 5 things that you really need to work on. So, some of us are like, oh, I have a list of 25. No. It's like when I have a weight loss client and they're like, they really need to lose a lot of weight. And they're like, I really need to lose 80 pounds. I'm like, don't focus on 80, focus on 20. Because you guys, when you focus on 80, you're like, oh my gosh, I've lost 5. It seems so far away. So right now it's 5 things. Each of us knows our strengths and weaknesses. Everybody knows their own. Unless you're willing to admit what they are, and write down your strengths first, because then you're like, wow, I'm pretty cool. I'm pretty amazing, And then write down your weaknesses and the 5 habits you need to change or tweak. 5, just 5. It could be getting up 15 minutes earlier that you promised yourself all year and you haven't done it. set that alarm, get up 15 minutes earlier. It could be, you know, it could be if you work from home and you have a baby like Christy. It could be like you're trying to make all your calls and focus on your business, but you're changing the laundry, emptying the dishwasher, you're doing all these things. It could be something as small as 15 minutes. I'm not moving from this chair until I get done what I need to get done. It's not big things, you guys. It's small things, okay? All right, and then also too, sometimes I think in this business, we get really comfortable in the easy. We think we're really doing a great job at the easy things in Arbonne, you know, dropping off the sample, but not getting the person's information, right? Oh, I gave out a sample today, but how am I going to follow up with that person? It could be getting on your computer and checking web stats and doing a few things like that. I'm really good at that. But the problem is we get really good at those non-important things, that the important things we don't master. So I want you to really focus on, you know, practicing every single day the things that we need to do and practice. And you guys, and here's the thing, tweaking is necessary. You know, if you have someone in your business that, you know, you like an upline, if you're close to, I get a little bit leery in having people coach from sidelines. I think that we need to always go up for sure. I think that sideline relationships are really good, but I think, you know, going to someone that's on your team or outside your team, a sideline, and looking for coaching advice is a bad idea. You have everything you need in your upline. But if you have, you know, an upline VP, maybe it's not your direct VP, maybe it's another VP and underneath Christy or whatever the case may be, you know, sit down and ask them, you know, what are things that I can improve on? What are things that I can change, you know? Because most of us know, we know and we see, and be willing to be coachable, be willing to be vulnerable and ask someone else to say, hey, you know what, this is maybe some small thing that you can work on, and don't be hurt. I mean, you know, don't be hurt. If you're asking for people to help you, be willing to hear those things, because you guys, nothing is going to come from that except for growth. And the person who's going to benefit from it the most is the person who's willing to be vulnerable and say, you know what, I really, really, really want this year to be different. I want the last half of 2018 to be different. What is it that you see I can do to help me do that? And be willing to hear it, you know, and be nice with your delivery for those that are asked. But at the end of the day, be willing to hear it. So you guys, I'm gonna just close with vision. I'm not sure how much time I have, so I don't want to. Okay, all right. So you guys, I want you to think about this. Every single person on this call has the tools to be successful in this business. It's like Legos. If you literally built something out of Legos and you followed the thing, you could build whatever it is you needed to build with a Lego, right? Well, you have the same thing in this business. All the tools that you have. You were talking about the website today and the new resources that you have, because those are your Legos, and they are going to give you the tools to be able to build this business to whatever level you want to be. And you guys, sometimes we come into this business and we don't see VP yet. We don't need VP money. We need $500 so we can come up for air. Like, that's okay. Get to that $500 and go, okay, now I see a bigger vision. And for those of you who are bringing people into this business, it's okay if they don't see that yet. They will. They will. But I sometimes think that we just assume everybody wants to be an NVP, and it takes some people time. So just give them the Legos as they go. Don't throw them all the Legos all at once and say, built NVP, because they're like, I don't even know how to make a phone call and ask someone to help me, right? So think about that. You guys all have the tools. Acknowledge it can be hard sometimes. You guys, it is hard sometimes. This business isn't always fun. Dr. Tom Barrett, Dare to Dream, Work to Win, says we want to tell everybody about the fun and the flowers and the jewelry and the trips and the this and the that, you guys. But sometimes this business is hard, and we need to be honest with people. So make sure you're talking about that, but know that it can be hard. Acknowledge it. And when they do say yes, just remember, you're going to guide them along the way, right? But you have to know, when someone cancels or the person that's going to be an MVP tomorrow disappears and it's like they never came into your life again, and you're like, oh, it happens. Be honest, you guys. Believe you are capable of building a team and helping people. You guys, you have to believe that you are. If you're not, borrow the belief of Christy or Ruth, or borrow the belief of the people that are making it happen. Borrow the belief and say, you know what, I'm just going to put on my armor today. I'm going to be an Arbonne warrior, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to help other people. And it's going to happen. If I help enough people and I throw enough seeds out, the harvest is going to come. Right? But just know that you have the ability. Every single one of you on this call, there's 22 of you, well, 21 besides me. Every single one of you has the ability to build this business to whatever level you want it to be. It's what you do and what you decide that makes the difference. Avoid expecting the worst. Avoid expecting no one's going to host for me. No one's going to join my team. No one's going to buy a fit kit. No one's going to join the 30-day. You guys say, everyone wants to join my team. Everyone wants to host for me. Everyone wants to try a sample pack. Everyone wants to live healthier. You guys, you have to flip your mindset. It's like my oldest is ADD. She's been ADD as long, probably in the womb, but you know, I went to counseling to figure out how to just help her, right? And I always had to talk in the positive, not the negative. Like I couldn't say don't run in the street because she was already in the street. Like I had to say stay on the sidewalk, right? When her and her sister were in the car, I couldn't say don't hit your sister. I had to say keep your hands to yourself. So are you speaking in the negative or the positive, right? Are you expecting the best or the worst? Practice self-care and self-development, you guys. Speak life into yourself. Like this, would you ever say to yourself, to your kids, what sometimes you say to yourself? Listen to yourself, not the voices in your head, not the past, not what anyone else has said to you. Talk to yourself. Breathe life into yourself. Practice self-care. Don't let anyone stop you from doing that. Practice gratitude. You guys, you have to be grateful. If you're making $200 a month, be grateful. That's $200 more than you had before you started Arbonne. If you're making $5,000, be grateful. Like at the end of the day, I think sometimes we want so much more all the time. We forget to be grateful in the moment. Practice gratitude every single day. Nothing can destroy or stop me. Don't let anyone steal your dreams. Don't let anyone push you away from this business. Don't let anyone I always tell my team, be steadfast on your feet, because the blocks will come, the negative will come, I don't use, I use whey or whatever, something so simple, or no, that's not good, or I know someone you guys, be steadfast on your feet. Not everyone will say yes. Not everyone will buy your product. Not everyone will join your team. You need a select few. You need a select few that are willing to buy in and be ambassadors for this brand and be ambassadors for their team and for you. So I'm going to close out with this, you guys. What does your vision look like? What does your vision look like, you guys? Because you know what? You have to have a crystal clear vision. And if you don't, talk to your upline VP and ask them to help you. Some of us don't know how to cast vision. Some of us have forgotten to dream. Maybe something in our life has held us back from dreaming about what's possible, right? So just be willing. What does change for you look like? $500, $5,000? I don't know, but what is it that you need? Write it down. Visualize the value and the results of that. What's going to happen? What's the value? If I have $1,000 extra in my family budget every single month, what is the value in that? I want to be an RVP by September 12th. Okay, that's great. But at the end of the day, what does being an RVP mean to you? Because the title and the car party, that's going to come and go. What does it mean to you? What is the goal beyond the goal? What does your family and life look like beyond that? Because RVP is a title. The car is a car. Yes, it's the representation of success. But when the dust settles, you're going to have your car, and you're going to be an RVP, then what? Have a goal beyond the goal. Inspire others. Sacrifice now. Guys, if you sacrifice the next 6 months, your 2019 is going to look completely different. So do you want it to look different, or do you want it to go, it's another year. I got to try harder this year. It's all about that. Overcome obstacles, never quit. I want you guys to write this down. We don't start with everything we need to finish. We don't start with everything we need to finish. You guys, we all come into this business with different gifts, different talents, different past, different education, all of it. So we don't start with everything we need to finish. And you guys, here's the thing, sign up first. Be the first person on your team. Be the first person that's out there in the trenches doing. I think that sometimes the most important thing that we forget is who we become in the process of building an Arbonne business. I know, looking at the faces that I recognize, each of you are so different than you were when you started this business. Write down the positive things that you've seen in you as a mom, as a wife, as a friend, as a leader, as a neighbor, as a coworker. Write down the things that have improved since you've started this business, you guys, because yes, there's an amazing paycheck, and yes, we build a business, and yes, we have a team, but honestly, it's who we become in the process that is the most invaluable piece that we have. Okay? Play 100% or shut the door. Guys, we have to be all in. If we're not all in, and life happens, don't get me wrong, things happen, but if we're not all in, we constantly beat ourselves down. Don't do it. Decide, shut the door. And each of us in this business happens, you're like, wait, that didn't feel so good. Because it happens in this business too. Celebrate the ebbs and flows, because the story of success is when we have a valley and the peak is a little higher. It's what you do in the valley that matters most. And then also, you guys, I think that we have to be feeding our brain. We have to be feeding our heart. We have to be feeding our mind. You can do podcasts. You can read. You guys, reading, I feel like sometimes I sit down to read, and then 3 minutes I have reading narcolepsy and I fall asleep. Like, it's like I have to like read in the middle of the day. I have to find time to do it. If I'm sitting in the car waiting for Tatum, like if I do it at night, I'm toast. Like, I'm just done. I love when Tatum goes back to school, because when she's reading and doing homework, I read. Like, you know what I mean? That's the time I do it. But at the end of the day, you guys, we have to be willing to feed our mind and feed our brain. And the biggest thing I want you guys to know is that you have to be resilient. Right? You have to be in it to win it. You have the resources. You have every resource that you need to be successful in this business. It's not rocket science. You do not have to be a rocket scientist. You do not have to have a PhD. It's not. It's very, very simple, and don't complicate it. And then basically what really comes from that is your response to your resilience and the resources that you have. What is your response going to be? Right? Because at the end of the day, no one on this call is owned by anyone. No one on this call can be pushed by anyone. Each of you have your own reasons why you're building this business. Each of you. And I think sometimes the deepest desires of our heart get buried because we don't want anyone to know these are the things that we hope for, dream about, pray for, because we're so afraid that they're not going to come to fruition. And you guys, you have to be willing to know that the deepest desires of your heart were planted there by him, and he wants you to realize those dreams. And I don't know what your faith is. I'm just saying that those things, my mom used to tell me all the time. It makes me emotional, but she used to tell me that gut feeling in your heart, and that gut feeling is there for you to grab a hold of it and for you to make it come true. So whatever you hope about when you go to sleep and you lie in your bed at night at the end of the day, and the things that you hope are going to happen, that you wish for, that you are afraid to tell anyone, those are there because you have a tool to reach them. It's what you're willing to do to make it happen. And you guys, I have had ebbs and flows in my business. I have had really down times and really high times. But it's in the times that are hard that make the most difference, that we grow the most, and that we see the most reward. It's when we stay in it. So stay in it, have vision. If you don't know how to cast a vision, or maybe your vision's been blurred a little bit, reach out to your upline and say, hey, I just need a little clarity. Can I look at this through your glasses for a quick second? And just know that this business is for each and every one of you, and it has the ability to reach all of your dreams. Arbonne is just the vehicle. The paycheck is the bonus. The beauty is what lies in what you're able to do for you and your family and all the other people in your community watching and waiting for you to see success so that they can jump on with you because they're watching. So you guys, thank you so much. I hope you have an amazing, blessed weekend. Christy, thank you so much. Give Ruth a hug for me. Sarah, thank you so much. I love you girls so much. I love your integrity and your heart. And it's just been an honor to be with you this morning.
Goodness gracious. I don't know about you all, but that was like right into my heart. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. Not supposed to be crying, but anyways.
I'm sorry, I tried. I couldn't help it.
No, it's and you talking about your mom too. Like, I know you lost your mom recently. Crap, life is not easy, but we have such an amazing gift to share with people. Like, I would have been let go 100 times this last year with everything, and it's just crazy that we have this. So we have to keep going when it doesn't feel like we want to, So thank you so much. I know we kind of went over a little bit, but Sarah, do you want anyone to ask questions? Okay. Do you care, Teri? Is that okay if we open up for questions?
I'm here, and so you guys want to kick me out.
If anybody has questions, Teri's incredible. So please, ask anything that you want to ask. Just unmute yourself and go for it, you guys.
Little baby. I'm so sorry I got upset. You guys, anything. It could be something small. It could be something unrelated, anything. I do new calls with my new consultants, and there's 3 questions I ask. What's your need? What's your biggest fear or obstacle? If you could ask me anything, what would it be? And how can I be of help to you? And it's crazy because when I ask the question, ask me anything, what would it be? They ask me, how do you stay healthy? How do you eat healthy all the time? Or they ask questions that weren't even related to what we were talking about. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. And if you don't, that's okay too. Don't feel pressured.
I want to know, what are a couple of your favorite books?
Right now I'm reading 54321. I love that book. I love one of my favorite books that I've read. There's 2 that I have read a couple of times. Is Lead Without a Title by Robin Sharma. Because I think sometimes we wait until we have a title before we want to lead. And I think Lead Without a Title, there's someone in a bookstore, there's a maid in a very reputable hotel. I don't know if you've read it, but I mean, it doesn't matter that they're a bookstore, or a maid in a hotel. They do it with the utmost integrity and attention to detail, and it changes their life because of it. So you guys, you don't need a title to lead. You just need a heart, and you need to apply it. And I also love The Carpenter by John Gordon. John Gordon is one of my favorites. And anything that writes, The Energy Bus is another really good one. And then the other one that I really love, and I think this is probably something everyone should read in this business because we all come in with different things, is John Maxwell, and I always butcher that thing, and I love John Maxwell. Many communicate, few connect. So, we're so on fire about Arbonne, and we want to just communicate it to the world, but we're not connecting with people. And he teaches us the connection is where the communication is open. So we can communicate, but we always want to connect. So I could go on and on, but.
Thank you. I know Hillary has a question.
Ma'am.
Hi, Teri.
Hello, love.
I thank you so much for speaking to us today. I know you've definitely touched a couple of our hearts, so thank you for just being so open and honest and vulnerable with us. I had a quick question, which definitely has hit me in the past months, but still trying to like crawl out of an ebb, I guess. How do you crawl out of your ebbs?
Gosh, didn't you just get engaged?
I did.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
You're like so happy and in love. No, you know what? I feel like the ebbs can be related to so many things. They can be related to a life, a life instance. They could be related to people quitting on our team. They could be related to, having a goal and not hitting a goal. I think that what we have to do is we just have to stick and get back to the basics, because the basics work. And I think sometimes we question, there's been a lot of change in Arbonne, you guys. We have a grandparent company, our parent company. We have a new CEO. We have, so many things that have changed. But the thing is, the basics of how we do this business hasn't changed. And I think sometimes when we're in the ebb, when we're in the valley, you guys, I've been in a few valleys. I mean, honestly, in my business and in life. And you just have to stick to that feeling when you started. Even though I was some of the darkest times in what was going on in my life and in my business, I lost my region at one point. I was down to like $4,000 in my region. I was like, okay, this is just not where I'm supposed to be. But at the end of the day, I never lost the belief that I had in the business and that it worked. I never had a crack in my belief that it wasn't Arbonne's fault. It wasn't the business plan. It wasn't that this doesn't work. It's how do I get beyond where I am right now? And that's just applying the basics, Hillary. It's going back to what you've always done successfully, which I know you're very successful in your business. And it's just applying it and being patient. Because what happens is my favorite analogy is bicycle. When I'm riding with my husband up a hill, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to die. This is no fun. And I stop pedaling, right? Because I'm like, I'm just going to take a break. So I stop pedaling and I'm on an incline like this. Okay, I can't just start pedaling again. I have to turn my bike. I have to get off. I have to get enough leverage. And sometimes I don't get enough leverage, so I have to walk up the hill. If I just kept pedaling, no matter how slow, I would have eventually made it up that hill. But when we stop, we have to readjust, we have to realign, and it's harder every time. So I just want to encourage you that we all have them. Every single person, every top leader, every person that you see on stage, and all the accolades on public Facebook, I think all of that can really mess with our head big time. I'm not a fan of public recognition on Facebook. I think because people that are in an ebb or in a struggling, they look at that and they compare themselves to that. And our private reel has nothing to do with someone's public reel, ever. So don't ever do that. Don't compare yourself. And just get back to what you know how to do. And like I said, it's that 90-day cycle. And I could tell you're frustrated. But at the end of the day, honey, we want what we once had. But we have to work a little harder every time. And right now you're in a season. You just have to say, I'm going to stay true to the process. I'm going to stay in this. I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm going to do my part every single day, and the rest will come, because I promise you, it will. It will. It does every time. Every time. It's the ones that stay in it are the ones that reap the reward, And at the end of the day, if you want to reach out to me privately, I'd be happy to chat with you, because I just want you to know you are not alone. This happens all the time. It happens in life. It happens in relationship. It happens in marriage. It happens just in every facet of life. But when we're in Arbonne, somehow we think it's only Arbonne, and it's not. It's just life. And so we have to stick in. When you dig in right now, you digging in is going to bring you to a higher peak, and it's going to make you stronger in every sense of the word, not just in Arbonne, but personally. So you just have to dig in, but you can reach out to me anytime and I'd be happy to chat with you. Does that help you?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Well, I'll be praying for you. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. You stick in there. Trust me.
Thank you so much, Teri. I had a question too.
Yeah, for sure.
So I love that you brought up the bicycle analogy, because I remember your nation celebration, and you spoke about the bicycle analogy, and you actually had those little bicycle cookies. That that analogy spoke so much to me that I saved that cookie because it was in a little plastic.
They last forever. Shouldn't eat it.
Seriously. I know. Actually, I had to fight my daughter off. I literally had it on my desk, I think, for like 2 years, and then we moved. And as I was moving it, it was kind of starting to crumble apart. And I'm like, okay, it's time to let the cookie go. But it was a reminder for me to just keep pedaling. And anyways, you said the analogy. But I have 2 questions for you.
Okay.
So I'll ask them both, and then you can answer them. So one question for you is, what do you look for when you are sponsoring people? Are there certain things, qualities that you look for? And then the second question is, with the 30-day program, do you have kind of a plan for maintenance for people, not for those that have like the big weight loss goals, but let's say somebody who's just doing it to like clean up, and they kind of approach it like a 30-day, clean up, whatever, and then they move on and never order again, and they just go right back to, eating and living the way they're doing. Do you have like a plan or a program for them to help people understand the importance completely of healthy living and eating? I know we talk about the 80-20, but just curious if you have a plan for like integrating people.
Well, I think the biggest thing for me is I really like to educate people. I'm going to talk about the second question first. Is I have said to people, if you're going to do this for 30 days and not do anything else, then don't spend your money, because it's not the way it's designed. And it's scary as a consultant because you want that ASVP, you want that volume and stuff like that. But I really always, try and let them know that this isn't that quick fix. It's not that 30-day. It can get you to that leaner goal or whatever, but this is about longevity. This is about healing your body for life. And I tell people it's not a weight loss program. I make sure they understand that, there's the maintenance behind the goal. And I have to tell you, I would say probably 75% or 80% of the people that have gone through the 30-day with me or on my team still order something, whether it's protein shakes and fizz, or whether it's detox tea and fizz, whatever the case may be. It might not be everything, but then they come back and they end up going, okay, I'm going to order a shake and a bit fiber or whatever. So I think it's really important to impress upon them that, yes, you can get to your quick, lean out goals, or I always call it stage ready. Because I can guarantee you, except for Miranda Burcham, every single person that was stage ready on that stage at GTC has fallen back into some of their old habits. And I feel like, why aren't we stage ready all the time? So I think that it's really important to say, this is a 30-day jumpstart. We really encourage 90 days for the most part, because within that 90 days, you're into a really solid cycle. I really also focus on the family too, that this isn't just for you. Use these recipes for your family, incorporate this and let your family in on it. If they have family, if they're single or whatever, it's different. But I think that you have to coach them that way from the get-go, and be okay if they don't want to do the 30-day. Be okay with that. We, in my team right now, we have a breakfast brain buster. We have a heavy metal detox. We have a sugar and metal detox. And then we have the 30-day, and I'd be happy to share those with you. And it's because I was talking to Michael D'Arminio, and if I'm going too long, just let me know. But I was talking to Michael D'Arminio because he and I are really good friends. And he goes, Teri, he goes, I feel like so many people are focused on the ASVPs. They forget that there are some people out there that just really want to know that they're making a difference for their life, whether it's starting with a protein shake and fiber and digestion plus, right? There are people that need the 30-day 100%, but I think sometimes we forget about those that just need, maybe you have these fit clients or whatever, maybe they're like the 30-day. I don't need the 30-day. Look at me. I'm fit. I know that you're super fit. So say, okay, well, let's do the 30-day, and then let's see how you can start your day. The brain breakfast, I think, is huge. I think it's a great way to incorporate people to just start their day a little healthier, So I think it's really knowing your client, but I think it's also saying, listen, this is not a get quick fix. This is not a once a year detox. It's not like, get beach ready. I know we see all those on all the posts and summer's coming and all that stuff, but we should be teaching people that all year long. Right. And I think that's how I present it. And I think it's important for you to do the same. And then, also too, as if you have those clients that are doing that 30-day, especially the ones that want to lean out, maybe have like a consultation with them after and say, okay, you finished the 30-day, you were able to maintain. What did you love about it? What are the products that you could see integrating into your life? And then help them figure out how they can do that. Maybe they're just ordering a protein shake and some greens, whatever, but they're going to continue, to be that continual client. Does that help? Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
And then secondly, as far as like sponsoring you guys, I mean, I'm a dater. I'm not like, hey, you want to do, I just this is how I am. So if you understand that terminology, like I really like to know the person, unless someone comes up to me and is like, hey, I want to do this, or they're having great success in the detox or whatever the case may be. Or I have a girl right now, she's going to finish area and she'll probably do regen by summer. But I met her at a Mamas and Mochas by a consultant that was direct to me. And I was like, she is fire, right? I'm like, I'm going to talk to her. So I just started talking to her, found out what she was doing. But, we need to sponsor up. I think sometimes we're nervous about, if I sponsor someone like that's, more put together than I am, more organized than I am, then what's that going to mean for me? No, sponsor up. If you're the best consultant on your team, you need to find someone that's better than you because it'll improve you. I think someone that's likable, someone that wants to serve other people. I feel like that, do they light up a room or darken a room when they walk in? Someone that's been successful in their career already. And that could be just a really put together, on it, stay at home mom. It doesn't have to be someone that, but I think the biggest thing is, I think right now, I think with where we're going and where we're headed as a company, I think that passion for healthy living is huge. Passion for others in your community is huge, and so I feel like, you have to have integrity. You have to have a sick work ethic. People with a big why. I always tell people, like, don't have a why that makes you, have a why that makes you cry, but you need a why that makes you work. Like, we can sit there and people are in their situation because they're like, oh, this is terrible. My life's terrible. No, have a why that makes you work, So weed that out, and you have to also too be willing to work with the 20%. The 20% that are working and running, and 80%, is your personal activity. Does that make sense? So, I feel like you have to, likable, someone that's wanting to hustle, and also someone that's communicative, someone that, I think that sometimes we focus on words, and we really need to focus on the actions of the person. And if they're showing you that they're willing to jump in and follow the business plan and do all those things, then you run with them until they show you differently.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. And yes, we would totally love the different, packages and options that you guys do as well.
For sure. Yeah. They're simple, but I think sometimes we're like, oh, they don't want to buy ASVP. Okay, well, and we don't go farther than that. We have the 150. I wish we still had the free product with the 150, but that's, an issue for another day. But at the end of the day, the 150 with free shipping is a big deal. And you can get a really nice little, and empower people. Maybe they're not ready to do the full 30-day. Empower them to know that one small little change is, like Michael Darminio says, if someone can't afford the RE9 set, say, okay, the most important things that you need is a wash, a serum, an eye cream, and a moisturizer. Get them the restorative moisturizer with no sunscreen, and then have them use it at night. At the end of the day, give them those tools, because in 30 days or 2 weeks when you follow up with them, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, what else do you have? But I think we always go for I told you, the big 80 pounds, unpack it a little bit. So if you have those clients, I'll share them with you guys, and then you guys can, they're just products that we put together, and easy peasy.
Awesome. Does anyone else have any questions? Maybe take one more.
Okay, you guys, my call to action for you. Do I have someone else want to ask? I'm in no rush, and I know you guys have time. You know, I want to respect your time, but my call to action for you guys is, and this is something that you can go back to your NVP and your RVP or area manager, whatever. But my call to action is for you to write a letter to yourself, and the letter is going to be June, what is it, 22nd, 2019. And what I want you to put in that letter, you guys, hold on real quick. So I want you to write a letter to me, and it could be 1 year. You could write it 5 to 10 years down the road, but whatever it is, I'm going to stick with 1 year. And I want you to write down the things that you value most, the relationships that you value most, and then what your viewpoint is in as a work in progress to that point. So remember when I talked about writing about the 5, you know, your 5 things that you need to work on, the 5 habits that you need to change. Like, write that letter to yourself in future tense about what are the 5 things that you worked on, what you saw come from that. Does that make sense? Is it confusing? So at the end of the day, like, write the letter to yourself, date it June 22nd, 2019, and it's the things you value, the relationships. It could be marriage, kids, family. You want to be a better leader. You want to have more activity. You want to, you know, you want to sign up, you know, your 8 consultants. I mean, I'm sorry, we all want to sign up 8 consultants a month, but your 8 PCs and your 2 consultants, whatever, 8 and 1, 8 and 2, whatever your plan is, you want to be consistent in that, all of those things, you guys. And then know that you're going to read it in a year from now. And I know it takes time. Some of you will do it, some of you won't. It's just the nature of human beings and who we are. But I want you guys to do that, because I think that if you do it and you write that out, you know, a goal not written down is just a wish. So what you see for your business in 1 year from today, if you don't write it down and if you don't make a plan, it's just a wish. And you're just wishing that it happens. It's like, I want to hit my district bonus this month, but I'm not going to write it down. I don't know how. So that's my call to action. And then read it to your upline, or read it to that mentor that you have, that you trust. Have someone have ownership in it with you, right? So don't just write it and then put it away. And at the end of the day, you guys, just know that we all, like I said when I was talking to Hillary, we all struggle in life. We all struggle in business. We all struggle in relationships. It's just the nature of who we are. You guys remember that the beauty is in the struggle. The beauty that emerges comes from the struggle, right? And so we always come out a better person, a better leader, in that struggle. So just know that the beauty is in the struggle. Don't let it get you down. And just, you know, we all have ebbs and flows. We all have peaks and valleys. Even the top field leaders tell you that. So just stay the course and know that you are enough and you have everything it takes to be successful. I believe in you guys.
Thank you so much, Teri. Thank you so much for sharing your time today, sharing your heart with such authenticity, of such a beautiful heart. And we're just so honored by you joining us today. And thank you so much. We love you.
Welcome. You guys have an amazing day. I'm going to read all the comments. See you guys later.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye.